My name is Matt Bruno, and today we're going to be going over Blackberry Blossom. It's a classic fiddle tune that you'll probably see in jams and things along those lines. So we're going to break it down going by verse and then to the chorus, or from the A part to the B part. I'll play it through straightforward just so you can hear how it would sound. 1, 2, 3. Repeat from there. So for my students, you should look for the PDF on this song. What we're going to do is kind of just quickly break down how I would suggest practicing this tune to get maximum effect from it. The first thing to do is to look at the sheet music itself. You'll see that I put in tabs and standard notation. Even if you don't read standard notation, it's a good idea to kind of get a little familiar with it. At least the note values, quarter notes, eighth notes, half notes especially, whole notes as well. As well as kind of just what the lines represent. And so just so we're clear, space to a line or line to a space is one note in one direction. So if you go space and then up to a line, that's moving up the scale. And if you go line to a space, moving down the scale. So basically, you'll see if you look at the sheet music here and you look at just the standard notation, you can see that a lot of the song kind of makes this little up and down move. That means it's going to run through the scale a lot. And so the first thing that I would recommend you do before you even get into the song is just make sure you have a grasp of the G major scale. So once again, right? And this song also does a fun thing where it does a lot of running thirds, movement back like that. So I'd recommend also practicing that as well, just doing the running thirds. I have another lesson on this, but quickly it's... and then back. Those two practices can help get your fingers comfortable with the motions that you're going to be doing for this song. So I recommend starting off with that. So the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to kind of divide this up. The A part we're going to divide up into 4 different sections. So the first measure after the pickup, we're going to take that and the second measure. That's going to be one phrase. The third and fourth measure, that's going to be another phrase. We're going to repeat that first phrase in the fifth and sixth measures, and then the seventh and the eighth measures are going to be a different phrase as well. Note that there's 2 different endings to this, the last part that we just discussed. So getting into the first and second verse, you have the first phrase, right? So basically you would practice that phrase until you got it down as well as you can, right? So... So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So once you have that down, the next thing you want to do is work on the second part. right? So the second part is going to be on the third and the fourth. So this is the second part of the A part itself, right? Or second phrase, maybe is a better way to say it. So you have, right? Pretty straightforward. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's that pickup at the end, right? I missed it the first time around. So a couple things to note real quick. The beginning of the first phrase and the beginning of the second phrase mirror each other in terms of the timing. They both have quarter notes to start with, followed by a series of eighth notes. So it's just another kind of cool recall from the first part there. The third phrase, like I mentioned, is the same as the first. So no need to go over that again. And now we go over to the last part, the fourth phrase in the A part. That would be on the C, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that last part again is the pickup to bring you back to the first. So if we did this in full, 2, 3, 4. Etc., etc. Now, I would also recommend practicing the second ending for the fourth phrase as well. So just quick to do that. 2, 3, 4. All right, so the only difference there, coming back here instead of going up here, right? Then when we go into the B section, we're going to basically do the same thing. So for the B section, well, let's start off with going back to the A section. We'll do the full A section straight through. 2, 3. Now if we go to the second phrase, the second part, the B part, we're going to do the same type of thing. In this case, we're going to break it up again into 4 different phrases. So we have the 10th and the 11th measure, 12th and 13th, 14th and 15th, and then finally the 16th and 17th. The 17th and 18th, there's a second ending in this too, so we kind of go over both of those. Now, another unique part about this B part here is that it has the same, the 10th fret, the 12th fret, the 14th fret are identical, and the 16th and 17th fret mirror the ending of the second part, mirror the fourth phrase on the A part for the second ending. So it's basically the same there too. So you'll see what I mean if that was a little confusing. Check out the sheet music, that should help. But we have, for the beginning, the 10th and the 11th measure. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Pretty straightforward, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now we're going to go into the second part, or the second phrase in the B part. This is going to start now on the 12th and the 13th measures of this part. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Moving on from there, now we're going to go to the 14th and 15th measures. We're going to play those straight through too. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you notice that this is very similar to the 10th and the 11th measure, just one note different, the very last one. We'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. From there, now let's do the next frets, next measures. So we'll do the 16th and 17th measures. And then we'll do the 16th and the 18th measure to get the second ending. 1, 2, 4. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now we're going to do just the 16th and the 18th. So we're going to do the second ending in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, just a slight difference. It's the last two notes. We're just playing the pickup to bring us back to the A part in this case. One more time, same thing, 16th and 18th measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So now if we play the whole B part together, just all four phrases, we're going to start off in the 10th measure and we'll go from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically this entire song. So all you would need to do when you're practicing the song and going over it, I recommend just going phrase by phrase and doing those 2 measures at a time, basically. That'll make it the easiest to remember the song and to kind of go through things. Generally, I think that's a good way to remember most fiddle tunes, so it's a good practice to get into. So once again, just to quickly recap, when you're going to play this song, Blackberry Blossom, you're going to want to start off by going over the G major scale, just straight through, then potentially G major in runs of 3, which is a great exercise to kind of get used to some of the fingering in this case. I would also recommend going over the chord progression, going through that. It's a really good way to get familiar with movement on your fingers. And then last, when you go through this phrase by phrase, do the A part first, all 4 phrases in a row, and then put them all together. And then do the B part, all 4 phrases in a row, and then put that together, and then put both of those things together. That'll make it the easiest, most likely, to kind of remember this and kind of go through it. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me through my website, mattcbruno.com. I'm always happy to help. Have a great time and happy picking.